Hi everyone, it's Dr. Katherine.Kelly. I wanted to give you a message this afternoon instead of the morning like I usually do. I want to really talk about the fact that it's so hard to stay aligned in a right way for ourselves when the world is in such a wrong place. You know, daily I hear 8 to 10 clients tell me that they're frustrated with this or that that's going on in the government or the world, or they're feeling threatened by the fact that, their security, whether it is financial security or emotional security or security in this country is threatened. And I just wanted to throw this out there that, our human condition, I talk about the human condition and the soul condition all the time. Our human condition is constantly threatened by things that are there to misalign us. And so our job, no matter what, is for us to find our truth and keep it. And in other words, to find that alignment within ourselves and keep it. Now, think about all of the things in your life that have taken you off your course, whether it's a relationship that took you away from who you are, you lost yourself, whether it's a job that stressed you out so much that you gave up on personal care and taking care of yourself. Think about whether it is some other stressor, a death, or something else that is really taking you off your mark. And then add all of the elements of what's going on in the country and in the world, and just look at how all of that is affecting us. And our job for our soul health is to find our truth and keep it. So it is our job to figure out what it is that we need to do that feels right for us, so that regardless of what's feeling wrong in the world, so that we can get closer and closer and closer to our alignment, which is our path to soul health. Now, I don't know how many of you remember the very first video games, the Atari video games. My dad bought us one when we were young, and it was just this, really the mechanism was just this little square with this stick on it and a red button. That was all that was part of that game to begin with. And all you did, regardless of the game, was you steered with that stick, and then you pushed the red button, whether it was to shoot something or to move or to jump over something, whatever it might be. That's all that was. It was very simple. So when you think about life, all we are supposed to do is really figure out how we need to steer our lives and maneuver and negotiate all of those very difficult things that are going on, and find a way to get the things out of our lives that are pulling us off our course. That's really all this game of life is about, is finding our truth and keeping it. So think about how many times you've had to learn how to speak your truth, how many times you've had to step into a role that felt right for you, even though it felt very uncomfortable. Think about following a gut reaction, and it was uncomfortable to do it until you realized it was leading you somewhere. So finding your truth in whatever way that comes up in your life is what we're supposed to do. So how is it that we live right in a wrong world? I'm constantly hearing clients come in worried about what's happening in our nation. Whether it is the financial security, whether it is the usage of our funds, whether now children are being taken away from their parents and what that's going to mean, or if they're going to be deported, or whatever the situation is, their health care going to be taken away, or are their costs going to skyrocket so high. We could go on and on and on. I've had people come in as clients worried about, are they going to be pulled over because they're black, and wonder what's going to happen. Are they going to get a ticket, or are they going to get thrown in jail? What's going to happen? There's all this stuff that is creating the opportunity to become misaligned. But really, we have to look at this in contrast. We have to look at the fact that look how much we are learning about ourselves and our truth by being faced with things that are making us uncomfortable. Look how far we've come with sexism. Everything that has happened in the news the last year is not going to go away. So we've broken some major seals, and we've had to really look at what we're uncomfortable with, what feels right to us, meaning standing up for ourselves, speaking up, reporting people if we need to, all that kind of stuff. That's not going away. That is a good thing. But we have to look at everything in contrast. Look at everything from the perspective of whatever is trying to get us off our mark, whatever is trying to misalign us is actually there to align us even more. Now, I know that seems like a strange concept, But unless we are faced with the discomfort of having to go, gosh, what do I really think about that? Or how would I feel in this situation? And wow, I never thought of it from that perspective. If we are not faced with that discomfort of processing that and expanding our view and expanding our idea, I call it widening the lens. If we are not faced with widening the lens, why would we ever get closer and closer to our truth? We don't. So it's that whole idea that everything that is happening in our world right now is there to happen so easy. And I'm sorry if that just blanked out. I got a message that we might be, that my coverage might have gone out. So I'm just going to keep talking. But how is it that we stay aligned in a wrong world? And it's that idea that we have to take all of those things that are constantly challenging us, all of the concepts, all of the discomforts, all of the really inhumane things that are happening, and how do we learn to see what our truth is in those situations? Now, I've had clients coming in recently within the last 6 or so months really disclosing sexual abuse that they'd never disclosed before. And then we start talking about all of the other aspects of their lives that have been misaligned because they have never been able to talk about it, never been able to report it, never been able to feel like they would be believed. Again, it's forcing people to get in their truth by being uncomfortable. So that discomfort that everybody is feeling is actually helping people step into their truth. Relationships. Boy, I'm hearing so many things about relationships, and I'm not talking about just romantic relationships. I'm talking about friendships, family relationships, coworker relationships, that all of a sudden the discomfort of realizing some differences is forcing people to really think about, wow, what is my truth? Am I living my truth within this relationship? And is it fulfilling for me? So even though there's a lot of breaking apart, whether it's relationship, whether it's seemingly our government, whether it's whatever else, it's really forcing us to take a look, a much deeper look at what it is that we believe, what is right for us in this, quote, wrong world. So I want you to really think about what is challenging you to realign with yourself. Because again, just like that Atari game, that joystick that's on that pad, and that one little red button, life is pretty simple if we let it be, but we have to learn how to steer our lives in order to get ourselves aligned and get ourselves in that space where we are living right and living in our truth. That's what this whole life thing is all about. You know, people ask me, what do I think life is about? And I really think, number one, it's finding our truth and keeping it. And if you think about how many times you've gotten off course, you'll probably agree that it's often, maybe can't even count. So this is a really important time in our lives because that self-love piece, that self-love piece is the key of traversing any kind of challenge within our human condition. But I think also it's that whole idea of how in the world do we right what we feel is wrong. And we're not here to solve the world's problems. We're here to solve our own individual problems, and then the world problems will solve themselves. And that's the biggest challenge, is getting everybody to understand that. So spend some time thinking about how it is that you need to be realigning, how it is that the world is trying to take you off your mark. What is the one thing you can do today and every day? You know, just assess every morning, what is the thing I can do today to get myself more aligned? It might be something super simple, but it's learning how to live right in your truth, regardless of a wrong world. Because boy, if we let the world take hold, we would all be off our mark, but we would not be evolving. We would not be getting where we need to go. That is soul health. That is aligning with our soul. That is aligning with our inner truth and staying in that inner truth, which is exactly where we need to be. So again, I want to just play with that idea. I want to encourage you to write in and make a comment and help me understand where things are coming from for you. But the truth is, this is our challenge of the human condition, is living right within our truth, regardless of what is wrong in the world, which, you know, that's an endless list. So think about that. I would love to hear from you, and you will be hearing more. And also in the very near future, I know I've said this before and I've planted little seeds, I'm going to start talking about soul age and how soul age is really impacting how we interact with people, and it impacts how we cope. And the whole idea of soul age is very new to a lot of people, but it is something that is, I really think, as a holistic and spiritual psychologist, I think it answers a whole lot of questions. So stay tuned, and you'll be hearing more about soul age as well. But for right now, just think about what it is that you need to do to stay aligned, regardless of all this other stuff that's going on in the world. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you have a great night, and I will be back soon. This is Dr. Katherine.Kelly. Go to my website at www.Dr.KatherineT.Kelly if you'd like more information or if you'd like to be on my newsletter. And also you will be able to access a bunch of my other videos from that webpage if you're interested. And I would love to hear from you. Thanks so much. Have a good night. Bye-bye.